women terrorists talking inside they're causing me a stroke right now inside of my head. So apparently me making sure to seal any gaps so that they don't get away with this is an issue for them, which obviously doesn't fucking matter to me. They're talking inside of my head with a war weapon. They do not want me going to work or Bible study today. Dude, these psycho bitches are using the weapon to murder people. They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They kept me up all night. And they're one of the men is laughing like, haha, let's just make this bitch mad so that she gets kicked off of YouTube. They're losers, dude. I want the women sentenced to fucking death, dude. I'm not going to stop till I've sentenced every single one of them to death. These psychos are terrorists, and serial killers, and they're playing with my head. That's fine. The psycho terrorist talking in my head he is murdering me, which he's doing exactly what the government wants to prove they're doing. And I've already made it clear. Either you're going to murder me and make it clear that you're a bunch of serial killers, okay? Or you're going to meet me in court. But you're not about to get away with this shit. Like either way, I'm sentencing you bitches to death. I'm going to make it clear. They need either investigating when I die. They're not going to sit here and like play these little games with the records that are produced with the weapon that they're using to talk inside my head. I've made that very fucking clear. I said, I told the piece of shits, the men think they're going to talk to me as if I'm their child. Like we said, you're not going to live stream if we said so. You're not going to sit here and discuss our women like our terrorist women if we said so. Like I do not know these men. I don't care what they've done or who they've done it to or if they do it to me. As long as when I die, I have sentenced every single one of them to death. Period. Fuck out of here. I need to keep calm because this is the type of beat like they're laughing in my head. My face is extremely swollen and they want to push on buttons to see if they could get me kicked off of YouTube because um, this is I'm embarrassing them. I'm embarrassed. They're embarrassed. This is how psycho they are. They're so stupid, dude. These are the world's dumbest criminals, I swear to God, that the world has ever seen. I'm going to make it so clear. Yeah, right. Which is the terrorist talking in my head just said, I'm going to cause you and your daughter strokes. I'm going to make sure to cause you strokes in my head. Because right now, this is how they discuss. She's like, I'll show you, dumb. Like, no, you're going to show everyone that you bitches are a bunch of serial killers and you're going to fucking get sentenced to death. And that's exactly what I'm making. That is exactly the point I'm going to make. Show me, dumb. No, you're going to show everyone exactly what the government wants to make obvious. You're a bunch of terrorists and you're not fucking getting away with it, period. A whole year went by and I've been live streaming. I guarantee you I can do a whole nother year. And I'm positive I can do two. I'm warning you, I've been embarrassing you for the past year. Don't stick this out for the next 2 years, honey, if you know damn well what you need to do. I will fuck you on God, I'm gonna sentence you to death. In the next 2 years, as long as it is clear as day that I hear voices in my head and I've made nothing but video after video to make it clear. I hear these terrorists talking in my head and I get my daughter safely to 18. Whatever they're after between me and my ex-husband and tie the knot to or whatever they're after with his records, I'm severing that opportunity. I have already made it super clear to the terrorists talking in my head. This is not a fucking game. Like, what is this? Like, she's talking to us like we're kids. Like, no, I'm not. I'm live streaming. This isn't talking. This is showing everybody how dumb you guys are. Like, what in the God's name put these terrorists behind this weapon? So right now they see they're playing with my head, and it could be that they're controlling my mind and what I'm saying and how I'm feeling, because they want me kicked off and they want me feeling like it's me. And honestly, it's only been 8 minutes, honey. So my hair is falling out. My hair is falling out, dude. Now it's like they're doing it, it's like hairs all throughout the day. I'll have like a handful of hair and it'll fall all throughout the day. Look, they're highlighting the chip in my tooth. They're stupid psycho trash. They are dying to make it seem like I do drugs. I don't do drugs. You know what I can do? I can go buy a drug test and I can pee on it, the stick, and I can go and I can show them the results of it. Why would I don't have to do that. I don't have to go that extra mile. Look at my hair keeps falling out. I want to show you. This is their idea of how to make somebody mad or stop. This is their idea of what they think it's going to take to get me to stop saying that I hear them in my head. I'm going to get ready for work. All of this because they don't want me going to the office. They don't want me working. And going to my, and mind you, this weekend is my they're playing with my head. It's my cousin's wedding. So they're going to do this all week. My head is extremely swollen. They don't want me going to the wedding. The terrorists talking in my head don't want me going to my cousin's wedding. They don't want me taking pictures at my cousin's wedding because the stupid psycho women that are bailing these men out are going to get sentenced to death now. So the men are hurting me on another fucking level because I'm making it clear that I hear the psycho terrorist talking in my head. And why I say another level? Because I know that they're psycho terrorists. I am deliberately doing whatever it takes. It is like, but who the fuck wouldn't in my position? And they're mad. They get mad and they want to hurt me rather than find a way to access their records or shake hands with the right people. They want to hurt me for doing what I need to do to protect myself and my kids. These people they want to take over our country and dictate what happens with our military defense, with the Egypt's military defense. Get the fuck out of here. These emotionally driven psychopaths. They can't dictate what Egypt is going to do with its military, okay? Not like Beyonce, not like Drake, not like Jay-Z, obviously not like Obama. Okay? And these psycho women, they want to get back at them for working for the past 20 years to sentence off them to death for the crimes they've been committing. These psycho women they're laughing in my head. Anyways, I'm giving them way too much of my feelings. I really need to regulate myself because I'm not trying. They're playing with my sentences. So I'm going to regulate myself, and the more I regulate myself, the more they're going to attempt to hurt me because they want to see me go down a spiral rabbit hole. And it's been 13 minutes. I want to make it clear. I hear Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. So as I'm getting ready, I'll make it clear what they're doing to me without being too emotionally driven. Because at this point, they're going to try, like they always do, to get me kicked off. Like they want to stir me up emotionally so that they can get me kicked off. And this is not one of those things like I'm being murdered. Like this isn't like someone they borrowed my car without me asking them. Or without me asking, without them see, they're doing it again. He took control of my mind immediately without them asking me. They're trying to make it sound like it's something that they're murdering me and trying to find a way to get away with it. The same way they got away with murdering Mark and Jacob Iskander and murdering D'Lo, Le'Veon, CK, CJ, Thomas, Jerry, Morrow, Mark, and David Basile, Bernadette Olosco, Mina Morgan, CK, CJ, Thomas, Jerry, um, um, David Basile, Shady, Dr. Georgie, George Ereb. These are all people they've murdered. Aaliyah, Kobe Bryant, Florence Joyner Jr. I said Sandra Edward. I want the women talking in my head sentenced to death. 2 15-year-old boys from our church in St. George. 2 boys from our church in St. George. A 22-year-old girl. And a couple in another car. It was 5 murders in total. And they incarcerated one of the boys. He's 24 years old. He's the most innocent boy. Okay. And he's facing 5 murder charges. Even though he wasn't drinking, smoking, or being reckless. They took control of his vehicle. And the priest, he knows. He's fighting on the side of the boy that is being prosecuted. It's the other people in the other car. Even though his son was in the same car with the boy that's being sentenced to prison time or whatever sentence they have for him. The terrorists talking in my head need to be sentenced to fucking death. They are Egyptian American Muslim women. I want you to see. They want me to go get a nose job. They want me to go get a nose job so they could botch my face and they don't have to constantly attack me. And it's a one and done deal. I want it to be so obvious what they're doing. I want the women sentenced to death, you hear me? I don't have to say what you already know. That's really all I have to say. Okay, you're weird. Get off my page. So The terrorist women are so desperate. They keep giggling in my head. So they're kicking it up a notch and they're talking more in my head. They keep calling me a maggot and they keep telling me walk away. They keep saying maggot, walk away in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. And they do this weird laugh in my head, like they're afraid they're going to get caught and sentenced to death. It's like this weird, uncomfortable laugh. And when you hear them laugh, you're like, you just know they're tainted, bitter, low down trash because the government wants them sentenced to death. You know they're and you know they've done something. It's just that weird laugh that makes it clear that they're facing the death penalty, that they're uncomfortable with my live streaming, that they're uncomfortable in general, that they're broken from the government like pursuing sentencing them to death. These are serial killers. They're sick. They keep saying, maggot, walk away. It's their way of saying, discharge your soul, like what they heard the Benaz. If you guys have ever heard the story of Benaz, okay, Benaz was a gal that was she was raped, abused to death. They choked her with hangers, followed her around, beat her. Well, they did so much to that poor girl. And she was found stuffed in a suitcase. It was these terrorists talking in my head, dude. It was their families for sure they did it. So when the men were murdering her, her sister was, and how convenient that her sister was upstairs, too scared to come down. And when she came down, she heard her, but then she ran away or something. And they kept saying, I can't remember how the story went, how she heard them, but they were saying, or maybe they planted, I can't remember because they would have came through. Anyways, somebody overheard them while they were murdering Benaz, which is weird to me because how did somebody hear them, but Um, but Banaz was found in a suitcase. Alexa, stop.
It's 6 a.m.
I never really
Here are
thought
your
about that.
reminders.
And now I have to listen to
7
I have to go
reminders.
back and listen
Check
to that
Section 8
documentary
every
all over
day at
again.
8:45
Alexa,
a.m.
stop. Um, but anyways, they said the men kept saying, discharge your soul, discharge your soul, discharge your soul. So the terrorists, that's what they're saying to me every time they say, maggot, walk away. Just their way of saying the same thing. They're Egyptian, and they're laughing like, and it's interesting because it makes it obvious they're responsible for Banaz. Dude, I'm gonna make these records so clear. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. When you hear what happened to Banaz, yeah, no, I'm done. And the women, they want to do that. So they're playing with my head. So obviously that sounds like the most disgusting thing you'd ever hear because they want me angry and screaming and belligerent so that they could get me kicked off of YouTube. But they're not, it's not just they're doing that. I mean, they're doing that pure. I mean, it just, that in itself is obvious. It makes it obvious. The proof is in the pudding. They're psychopaths. That's just all there is to it. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. Look how swollen my face is. Right now, they're hurting my sides. They don't want me getting ready for work. You see? Hi, mamas. They're making my nose swell. I used to take the big bobby pin and do this. So I would, to help my nose. My mom told me that this would help it from spreading. That it would keep it narrow. So the bulb of my nose is like, and this is why you wonder if the terrorists did this to you or not, because why is there so much skin right here? Yeah. And the bone isn't there. Like, look at all this. This is like all extra meat. I don't know if this would be considered cartilage. And then when you look at our, like my baby picture, I had a small little nose. They think it's funny, but I swear you just don't know. The, yeah. I'm trying to keep my nose together. This binsa, this is called a binsa in Arabic. It hurts. I need to find something else. Okay. The women keep saying, maggot, walk away. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:05 a.m.
I have to literally outlive everyone. Because the terrorists have an order they want us to die in. The terrorists talking in my head want me to die, then my mom, then my ex-husband, then my daughter, then like they want to decide. And when they want us to die. Hi, Susie. They're hurting my back and they're trying to see if they could make me angry about it and not think about the pain that I'm in. These are psychos, dude. I'm not gonna stop you. You don't want me to make it obvious. You don't want the government to have any evidence. And there's no way in hell I'm gonna stop. You're out of you are out of your mind. She's trying to get me to cuss. She's trying to force me to cuss. You do that. She's singing J Rock's song in my head. Like, go listen to music. How about if I'm not learning or making my life better in some way? How about no? Or making it clear that you're talking in my head. Well, let's find out. The terrorist women talking in my head are Egyptian American Muslim women. They're pulling on my eyes right now. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:09 a.m.
If I'm not live streaming, maybe. But you know I'm not going to dive into the deep end on that. But so this is the time that they're most aggressively attacking me, and the weapon is voice activated, and she wants me to play music and not live stream. When this is when they're the most, this is when they attack me the heaviest. So there's no evidence that what I was hearing was in my voice, in my head solely. They want to make the claim that the voices I heard were coming from outside. Everything they're doing, okay, is to there are layers. One is to manipulate your brain activity, to manipulate your perception of the like that you're being murdered. They don't want you to feel like you're being murdered. Um the other is to make your brain activity seem consistent with what sounds like. So when you hear voices and it's external of you, it's your ear, the sound hits your eardrum. Your eardrum does it vibrates to the beat of that, whatever sound is, and it sends the signal to your brain. So, being that their voice is projected in my mind, my eardrum doesn't vibrate. So, they try to find a way to manipulate the way it hits your eardrum and to make it sound like, or to camouflage it with the sound of ambient sounds. Try to mask like any vibration, they try to make it sound like it's what's carrying their sound, their voices. um on top of the fact that they want it to, so they're trying to manipulate all these records because it reads your brain activity, it reads how it reads to find out if there's discrepancies with what you heard and if your eardrum vibrated. The weapon looks to find out if the people around you look startled or surprised, if there was a police report, if there was, it looks to find out, if what since it's the same voices, am I seeing the same consistent faces? It starts to address whether these faces are employees of whatever space I'm in, to justify them being there constantly, or whether they live there or what have you, or if they're random faces to decipher if I'm being stalked. The weapon, it looks for things to identify, of course, similar faces. So, and like I said, the terrorists want me so internal. They don't want me paying attention to who's in my environment. Like they want to hurt me all the time, to the point, like right now they're attacking my sinuses, but when I'm in public, they'll attack my spine, or they'll hurt me, or they'll scream in my head. They're hurting me right now to keep me internal from paying attention to the fact that, to the people passing by me, so that there is no evidence, okay, of whether or not there was somebody stalking me on the record produced with the telepathy weapon. Like, it's all this trafficking and manipulation is obvious. They make it obvious that there's a record involved, and that they're trying to manipulate it. All this deprivation, all this abuse, when I'm traveling in my car and I hear the same voices traveling from Mission Viejo to Irvine. That's another thing that flags the weapon. So they don't want that. They want to see if they could, um, they can destroy their victims' cars. They want to make sure that they don't have vehicles to drive. Get off of me. So right now they're pulling on the muscles right here in my abdomen. So let me show you what they did, because they botched my body. Okay, see that? See that? if you saw see that, what it looks like, it gets completely mutilated. They want to do that to my face, and let it be a one and done deal. So I'm too embarrassed to take photos, rather than to make it look like they're the ones who are manipulating and mutilating my face. They're stupid psycho trash. Um, so right now, the men, if I do this, they like rub my nose really hard. Right now, they're burning my scalp, so my hair falls out. See? It's like, it's obvious they're trying to murder me. It's obvious. And they want to hurry up and do it, like now. Because they want to hurry. And what makes me curious, because it's like, well, if there are statutory limits, wouldn't you want to just extend this out? It's like, what is it that they're after exactly? And who's after them? Look at how much they made fall out right now. Here. Who's after sentencing them to death then? Since they're such in a rush. And could it be, look more here, could it be that the people that want them sentenced to death can actually pull them off the weapon while we're all still here? And if that's the case, if they can, then oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so obvious that all these targeted individuals were being tortured by these terrorists, because all of a sudden they can hear, they'll have access to the records, on top of the fact that all of a sudden the entire community stops hearing voices all at the same time. And they want their victims to hurry up and die before it's obvious that before the voice starts, the system starts picking up that the voices are internal, because it will kick them off the system so that it'll block them from logging back in. It will flag their records, and then they'll be investigated. Assuming we die, assuming their victims die after a prolonged period of time, the weapon will come to that logic on its own. So the terrorists, they don't want it to come to that logic. They're trying to get their victims to commit suicide or die by accident, okay? And say, oh, that person, they were feeling defensive because Renee's displaying, behavior of violent behavior or angry behavior. So they either try to see if they could scare the people around you into doing it, or get you to commit suicide, their victims. And not in my case, it's to open up another investigation with my daughter. because it's obvious there are too many loose ends, and um, they're making it obvious that whatever they're after, they still don't like, they don't have everything they need to destroy the records. And in order to get to her and my ex-husband in particular, because it's obvious it's him. He's the one who I was involved with legally. Um, so there's something with his records that they're trying to gain access to. Plus, my kids have equity in my mom's home that belongs to them. This condo is theirs. Okay, my mom put it in my name, so it is theirs. The women want me to die. They keep saying, I want you to fucking die about me over and over again. Um, inside of my head. One of the women just, she attacked my head. She made this spitting sound in my head. And at the same time, it electrocuted me. See, and now my elbows, they constantly make me hit things and trip over things, walk into things. Okay. The truth is in the pudding, remember? Dude, if you heard the things these women were saying before I knew, like before I knew. So now they do it to make me angry or to attempt to make me angry to get me kicked off of YouTube. But if you heard what they were saying before I knew, this is really who they are. They're just low down dirt. She said, no, I'm the same. No, they're low down dirt. So one of the women um is talking in my head aggressively and basically trying to make it sound, and I mean she's talking in my head like like she's like I'm a dog and she's training me at the moment. Like, the way she's talking to me, like, oh, this, like, about me, like, this bitch just needs some training. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. So now I hear one of the men. I'm curious to know if the weapon, when they're in front of the computer that they're using, if it recognizes their face and that's why it permits them to use it. If it's one more than one person that's permitted to use one particular line. Like, how are they so? I mean, obvious. I guess they don't need to be. Who, if anybody else were behind the weapon? Well, I don't know. You don't know that. Uh, no, there's no way. How would they? That would make it so much easier. Well, I'm assuming it would make it so much easier for these terrorists, and maybe that's why I hear the same ones over and over again. Yeah. Uh, um, because I'm wondering, like, do they need to, like, when they start talking and commanding the computer, do they do a fingerprint before they talk into the weapon? Do they have to do facial recognition? Like, what is it? Do they have to go through a series of things that identify them so that they could sit behind the weapon so it will actually operate? Because why? But then it's like, if they have somebody handling their dirty work, why wouldn't they just take the money for themselves and frame the terrorist talking in my head, right? And say it was them. Like, why? I have to use the bathroom. I'm about like 29. 28 and a half to 29 inches around the waist. Right now I'm swollen too, so I'm probably closer to 28. Hi, baby. Hi, Cece. Like if Google Photos comes out with an AI, so I could say, hey, can you summarize all, can you go through my pictures and pull out all sticky notes or my weight or, and I can just take photos to document all, can you pull up my receipt for, because it'll pull up receipts, but if it can be as specific as to, you could say pull up my let's say Macy's, you took a picture of it and you're like, oh, I want it to pull up the picture I took of my Macy's receipt. That would be so freaking awesome. Because I would document everything and then I would just go through my photos and say, hey, how much did I weigh at this point? Can you pull up the photos? And then the photos would be the timestamp and it would show evidence of it. What do you say? I'm duck hunting. Come on, you know the lyrics. Stop pretending like you don't, because you want to act like you're cool. They're not denying knowing everything about you. What does the song say? My trigger fingers have callus, baby. It's rock. So his name is J Rock, and the song is called The Win, or Win. And then he says, on Deuce Line, I've been hit it. What did he say? Tin in my limo ride. I don't know. I have no idea. But something along those lines. They're like, your cousins, they talk about how they notice you have a handicap. That's what the terrorist talking in my head keeps saying. One of your cousins, although this could all be a lie, it could be the truth, who knows? Um, they say they hear you all the time, that it's obvious you're becoming too handicapped to work. The terrorists talking in my head are discussing this in my head right now. And they went as far as saying, she even asked, how many deals do you have in the pipeline? And she went further to say, the terrorist talking in my head. The terrorist talking in my head went further to say, she even said, well, she's okay on the phone, but she does stutter. And Patrick, her brother, agreeing like, yeah, or yeah, she's not the best at articulating herself, or she's slow, or whatever the terrorists were saying. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking inside my head. I know most people want time to slow down, but honest to God, I would like for it to speed up. I want 2 years to just fly by. Mm. I want the next 2 years to fly by. Mm. I want the terrorists talking in my head. I want to end whatever it is they're after. I want to make sure I destroy that opportunity. Mm. I wonder if the market will improve when Leah turns 18. Mm. Look at how much hair keeps falling out. August, April, May, June, July. So the women are pretending to laugh. They're fake laughing really hard. Um, in my head, to my hair right here. So then you can't see. Let me see. So you can see. Look at this. There. See. And then go look at how thick my hair was. And I parted it in both directions so you can see in my pictures before The terrorist made my hair fall out. You see that? This is what it looks like all the way around my head. They're Egyptian, American, Muslim. Look at right here. Muslim women, terrorists talking in my head, doing this to women of all ages. Everyone can see it. Look, they keep making my hair fall out. It's the women. They just burn my scalp right now. So the terrorists talking in my head are dehydrating my face. And they're making my hair fall out. Like they want to see if they could get me to a place of desperation. But I want it to get to a point where it's so obvious they're attacking me with the weapon to the government agencies that want them sentenced to death. Yeah. Right now, it's threat after threat. Like, we're going to deprive your daughter as if they're not already doing it. So, me live streaming, and they're depriving my daughter. Imagine if I wasn't. They're burning my scalp. The women are burning my scalp right here. It's the women. It's the women. It's the women. If they were protecting their dads, you can only imagine how psycho the women and they're making the men in their lives. It's the women. It's the women, I promise you. Could you imagine if one of these terrorist women talking in my head is bailing her dad from the death penalty? I'd have her psychotic terrorist dad losing his fucking marbles. So they want me cussing because they don't want there to be evidence of what I'm doing in my condo. Like I said. Like I said. You want to be fine and so look at this bald spot right here. And they're burning my scalp. Good morning, Mark. They keep burning my scalp. So the blow dryer is on and they're trying to make it sound like their voices are being carried by the blow dryer. They're trying to use the blow dryer to camouflage with so that because they're talking in my head and there is no vibration to my ears. So they're trying to use the blow dryer as a medium. I'll make the moon out of that by documenting it and making it all this. But it hurts me. Well, I hear the women talking in my head. Women aren't your children. Especially if these stupid women are bailing him out. He's like, you're a child to me, you're a psycho. So one of the men wants to make the women talking in my head feel better. So he's like, "You effing whore bag, you have to listen to the like I don't know, just what were you saying? Piece of whatever you are, fucking maggot." So look at this. Look at all of this. They made all this hair fall out. And they want me to set, and now they're laughing. I guess the saying goes, once a maggot, always a maggot. Mm. She's like, let your hair grow out and watch, let it all grow out. And the ones that grow long, I'm gonna make fall out. And the ones that grow in, I'm gonna make you have these ugly bangs. They're stupid psycho Egyptian American Muslim women. So I'm documenting everything and what they're saying to make it obvious they're predicting the future. My schizophrenic voices have a way of predicting the future. How could you be so certain? How are you so certain? How are you so certain? I love that part. How are you so certain? They're predicting the future. That's the last thing they'll give us. I sure hope you're around in a year, Mar, to find out if the long hairs fall out or not. So you and I could both testify to the voices in my head predicting the future. And anything else that they predict, I want to say on my live stream. See if I can make it clear. They're ripping my hair. They're trying to rip my hair. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 7:02 a.m.
She said, all your cousins, it's Before they were saying it was because you straightened it, but now it's undeniably thin. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head that way. And she started laughing, and now because I've repeated what she said loser in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women. They're talking in my head. I'm making it clear they need to be sentenced to death. This is, they're psycho. These are psychopaths. I can't capture your voice on my live stream. On the record, I'm live streaming. So if they program the computer because they didn't have this before, that if someone were to live stream and they can't capture your voices on their live stream, to flag the records if it hasn't already been done. So with the white hairs and the brown look like,
Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 29th. It's 7:05 a.m. You've asked Big Sky for the weather more than 770 times. As a thank you, you can get Big Sky Premium for half off. That's 50% off custom forecasts, weather alerts you schedule, and more. Want more information?
no, thank you.
Okay. To learn more about Premium, just say, ask Big Sky about Premium Edition. Currently, it's 67 degrees with mostly clear skies. You can expect mostly cloudy skies until later this morning. Today's high will be 85 degrees, and the low was 66. The National Weather Service has issued the following alert. Extreme heat warning in effect from 10 a.m. Friday, March 16th Sunday, to be the Stay west.
Gonna cry about it and touch the hearts of everyone. Because this isn't a game. I've been wearing my hair like this for forever now. I want the terrorists talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women investigated. I want them investigated. The men are trying to rip my hair because the women that I'm making it clear the women are talking in my head. And it seems as though they're bailing these psycho men out from facing the death penalty or attempting to, rather. Oh, and I was saying maybe the women go there because they want to lessen the suspicion. Maybe our neighbors are close enough to see them. They want to lessen the suspicion that there are heterosexual men sleeping in the same house. But that doesn't stop the fact that there are never kids at that house. Like they're talking in my head and I never hear kids. $8 years? If they started when they were 30, the terrorists talking in my head would be 38 today. This is about the time, right, that they would have kids, or maybe they had them younger and their kids are in their late teens, early 20s. Like, how do the women talking in my head, how do they walk away from caring for infant children or toddlers and any kid before the age of 16? Any of their kids. And even then, It's not like, Mom, where are you? Why aren't you here right now? Where do you guys disappear to? They're 20-year-olds, same thing. I mean, little kids, for damn sure, it's like they'll spill the beans, like, oh, my mom and dad, they mimic us. So there's no way there are little toddlers or kids um, that enter the house where these terrorists are at. Maybe, who knows? That could also mean the investigation. Yeah. I would never take your word for anything. I'm looking at patterns and logical reasons and explanations. I'm listening to what Beyonce has to say. Not a bunch of psycho terrorists. Okay. Yeah, that's my done. Time to change. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 7:16 a.m.
Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
Alexa, stop. Come here. Come on. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes.
Good morning, Devon. 5 minutes, starting now. Welcome to Market News. Here's what we just got for you.
Alexa,
6 minutes ago from CNBC, oil rose sharply amid renewed tensions in the Middle East after Iran launched an attack on U.S. forces using ballistic missiles. 10 minutes ago,
Alexa,
this country...
Stop. Alexa, how much time left on the timer?
You have 20 seconds left on your 5-minute timer.
Alexa, stop. How convenient. Hi. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 7:31 a.m.
Hi, Cece. Cece. Hi. Cece, come here. Hi. Oh, get off of me. I'm gonna get up anyway. Oh, it really makes sense to that. Oh, it's so fucking clear. I'm obsessed now. There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. Still. Okay, they're clearly not going anywhere till they've murdered me. There's psycho Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. They're making that clear. I want to make sure everyone knows it. So that the order I want it to go in goes my way, not yours. Me, then you. Alexa, what's the weather today?
In Lake Forest, it's 66 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can look for partly sunny weather with a high of 87 degrees and a low of 64 degrees. Also, there's an extreme heat warning in effect from Friday, July 31st, 10 a.m. to Sunday, August 2nd, 8 p.m. Good morning. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, achieved liftoff on this day in 1958, when President Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act into law. I hope NASA is having a party to celebrate, 'cause it's sure to be a blast.
Get off of me. Me. Innocent, sweet kids. I need to. So today, I don't like that they do it. Okay, I'm dressed for work.